Well, generically speaking, what plans would you have for the magnet programs, as if you were to be elected board to the board? Specifically, what would be your plans for the Accelerated Academy? How do you see it fitting into the educational philosophy of our school district?
Well, I was all in favor when Dr. Crates proposed having the magnet schools, the HDLA and the Accelerated Academy. My oldest daughter actually went here for the first 2 years of the Accelerated Academy, and I thought it was a great learning experience. I had some concerns in the beginning. We were told, that we would get our own school and our own school number. That didn't happen. My biggest concern, I guess, was because Calaveras was going into its 5th year, that they were going to be pulling the gate kids from the other schools and sending them here just to raise the test scores. I knew there would be some bugs with a brand new programming system, and we got through those with the books and stuff. And when my daughter started here in 5th grade, when she was in 6th grade, they tried to have a 6th grade girls basketball team, because I didn't want her to miss out on a traditional middle school experience, the sports and the clubs and even the dances, which I'm not that crazy about, but the whole experience and stuff. And so, they tried to have a 6th grade girls team. A lot of the games were forfeited. There were no refs, or we ended up playing 8th grade girls, and we'd get slaughtered 40-9 or whatever and stuff. But I think it's very important to offer parents a choice. One of the biggest problems this district has is children that live in Hollister attending school outside of our district. And so we need to make it as attractive and offer as many choices as possible. And so I think the concept where you have like an Accelerated Academy, and you have a dual language academy, and you have some schools, the traditional K through 5, and then the middle schools, or then the K through 8 schools, because I think it's very important for the parents to get to choose. I mean, they're the ones that would know best, the best way to educate their children, and I think they should make the call. And just like I believe in the school of choice, whereas like if you want to transfer your child from one school to another school, that should be your right to do so. I don't see anybody telling me that just because I live here in this block, my child has to attend that school. And I guess I've proven that by the fact that we live in the Sierra Vista neighborhood, I guess, and so my kids started there. And then when my daughter got on the Accelerated Academy here, we shifted our other daughter over to go to Calaveras. And with my wife at Hardin, our son started kindergarten there. And then we shifted our other daughter over to Hardin. And then 2 years ago, my oldest daughter came to me and said, she thought she was missing something from the traditional middle school experience. She enjoyed her 2 years here. She loved it. She had Miss Bianchi both years. I think, sorry. No, you're right. I'll battle all day. But no, I think they're very important, and I see a definite need for them. And the more choices we have, the more likely we are to keep children in our district. Thank you.
I'm an idealist, so in one way, I believe that all schools should be accelerated achieving academies. And I think what's taught here is what all children really need. And I think that this school should serve as a model for what we should be doing at other schools. So from that point of view, I wholeheartedly endorse this program and would always support it if I would be elected to the school board. I think I didn't like the idea of saying, well, this is the way we're going to keep kids from going to other schools. I don't think that's really a reason to have an academy. An academy should be based on the curriculum that it's going to be based on, and how it's going to advance student achievement, and how it's going to achieve mastery of skills, not, making a lot of kids good at taking tests. And so that's what I see the Accelerated Achievement Academy doing, is helping kids develop a sense of mastery using creative curriculum instead of the way it's taught in, unfortunately, many settings. So from that point of view, I really support this. If we want to keep kids from leaving school, I think most parents would keep their kids in schools here in Hollister if there was still 21 ratio. If the schools weren't overcrowded, and if we sufficiently funded all the programs that we have going. One of the things that I've been concerned about is that in some ways, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, I won't make that judgment, but sometimes we tend to triage, you know, like if you have an emergency room and you get all these victims, well, you figure out, well, this one has the least chance of survival, so that's the one we're gonna ignore. So we have, and I'm a strong supporter of public schools, and I think that we should figure out a way to help all students. But in a situation where we have an Accelerated Achievement Academy, I think that this should serve as a model for what we should be trying to accomplish in other schools as well.
Agree with both of them. I spent a good hour today at the Dual Language Academy finding out more about what was going on with that, and I had previously spent, when I thought about bringing my son to the Accelerated Achievement Academy, time with that, and I think that it's a great idea, and I think it's working, but what I really see is we need to have extended plan. I talked to the principal today at the Dual Language Academy. She doesn't know what's happening next year because there's no plan. So my real belief is that parents need a choice. They need to have a voice in how they educate their children, and they need to be able to make choices. A lot of people have asked me, well, what about charter schools? Well, this is better than a charter school. It's still in the district. We get choices. It's part of the team, and I just truly believe that we need to come up with a strategic plan that looks at the two different schools and make sure that they're successful. And then use that as a model to make all of the other schools and bring them up to speed so that everybody has a choice in where we educate our children and what plan they make. My biggest question that I pushed through, and she can tell you, at the superintendent search committee is, how do we make all of our schools blue ribbon schools? We have one, I think, in the district. And we need to look and see what other districts similar size are doing and how we can bring up the whole district as a whole. But as far as this particular program, I'm fully supportive of it, and I'll continue to support it as a board member.
This is a really tough one for me. I'm not in favor of magnet schools because I think that all the kids in the district should receive an equal education. And I don't see why we can't have a strand at every single school. A dual immersion strand, an accelerated achievement strand. It should be offered at every single school, and that way you can stay at your own local school. My real core belief is that our nation needs a total overhaul of its education system. Now that is almost an insurmountable problem. In my NEA Today magazine, there's a wonderful article by Linda Darling Hammond. And Joe, you've read it. I see you shaking your head.
She's my hero.
Yeah, she's my hero too. Obama should have chosen her for education secretary. She advised him during his administration, and then he snubbed her. She knows what it's all about. She knows what our country needs, and we need to model our education system after Finland's. It's not a quick fix. It's taken them 40 years to get to where they want to be. So what I would be in favor of is K-6 schools and junior high schools for 7th and 8th grade, and a strand of accelerated achievement and dual language at every school.